right, day 6 of Path to a 10K payout. Definitely was a frustrating day. So I'm gonna show everything on Top Step, but I obviously didn't take any trades on Top Step. The trades that I took were on my Alpha Futures account. But I'll show you the trades I took, and then we'll go over the topic of the day, which is going to be over trading, which I kind of did today. So the first trade that I took, well, we'll go over daily buys, draws on liquidity first. Draws were these 4-hour highs. We also have this daily gap that I think we're going to eventually want to tap into, or I thought we were going to tap into. Let me actually I took the trades on ES, so let me, yeah, the daily gap that I thought we were going to tap into. And then we had these 4-hour highs that were looking pretty good after sweeping out this low pre-market. So we got a strong reaction to the upside, taking out London highs. Strong close on the 5-minute above that high, along with a strong continuation candle to the upside. So I entered, stops at this low. Take profit was the 4-hour high, the 4-hour highs. Looked pretty good. Strong reaction, got a small retrace, took out that 1-minute high again. So stops went to break even per my strategy. Ended up getting stopped out, which was good. Well, it wasn't good that I got stopped out, but it was good that I went break even because we ended up dumping. So after that, the main objective was inversing this 5-minute gap if we wanted to go short, which was a little frustrating because we were going to inverse it with this 9:45 5-minute candle, but we end up not inversing it, and then we get this Drake candle to the downside. End up this is the first candle after not inversing it, which was unfortunate. Let me mark out these lows actually, because after the inverse, they're there. I was like, where are those 1-hour lows? The targets were these lows. So realistically, the trade of the day probably would have been this short down to these lows, or well, could have been down to these lows or these lows, doesn't really matter. Could have had take profit 1 here and then take profit 2 there, and then stops at the top of this candle body. That was probably the trade for the day. I was personally looking for a little bit of a retrace into this 1-minute gap and then a continuation down. We didn't get it, so my second trade was actually definitely not the smartest. This was the second trade. Enter off the continuation, break even at this 1-hour high or 1-hour low, and then full take profit down at this 4-hour low. Once we took out the 1-hour low, break even again, another break even trade. And then I was still looking for shorts, so we end up coming in to this 5-minute gap with these 2 candles. Again, scaling down to the 1-minute, we got this strong body close right here. Stops were at the high. Again, take profit was down here. I actually wanted to trim half my position at this low, but obviously didn't get there. My stop loss was initially here. Once we got the strong reaction to the upside, stops went here. Once we came in to draw down a little bit, got another reaction to the downside. Stop loss went to the new 1-minute high, and then ended up getting ran through for a little bit of a loss. So it was definitely not the best, not the best day. Let's see, 15. We did create this 15-minute gap eventually. Didn't think it was going to be too much of an issue. Clearly it was, because we tap into it, and now we're flushing to the downside. So you also probably could have taken a trade in here, maybe. This is perfect, leading into the topic of the day: over trading. I didn't need to take that loss. Realistically, should be 2 trades max. This long was I thought was pretty clean. Unlucky that got stopped at break even. After that, I should have looked for one short. That definitely shouldn't have taken this. This was probably the trade that I shouldn't have taken. I can't find what. There it is. This was probably the trade that I shouldn't have taken. And then this should have been the short that I took. Which still would have ended up in a small loss, but it wouldn't have been over trading. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe the over trading made me not put my stop loss to full break even, which maybe should have. But I saw it was a perfectly explained TikTok yesterday. There's people who progress faster, and there's people who progress slower in trading. The only difference between the two is when the person who takes longer to become profitable. Okay, let me restart. The person who is slower to become profitable, there's one difference. They overtrade. They take a loss and they end up blowing their accounts. They get 2 break evens and they still take a trade for a loss. So after those first 2 trades, I should have been done. Should have been completely done after that. But I wasn't. So I kept trading, and that ended up in me losing. Let's see. $209. So definitely should have been better. Definitely not money that I had to lose. But yeah, the only reason people are unprofitable is because they can't handle their emotions when in trading, and they can't stop from trading after they lose or get a break even. So what I'm going to be implementing from now on: 2 trades max, and then you're done, no matter what. If the first one's a loss, 1 max. If one's break even, you're allowed a second, then done. So yeah, that's day